Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. It's Tuesday, and it's time for our Spiritual Mind Healing Service. I'm Sandra Cooper, practitioner, and it's my pleasure to be your host this evening as we just take a spiritual journey together. Let's begin with just a few moments of quiet meditation. And so I want you to just close your eyes for a few moments. And as you close your eyes, just close out the hustle and the bustle of the day, the traffic, decisions that had to be made, the engagement with others that might not have gone so well, questions and challenges. Just allow these to dissipate into nothingness. And just become aware of the breath. Wonderful life-giving air that fills our lungs and energizes and enlightens our bodies. So we breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. In and breathe out. And so as we remain present to the inhale and exhale, let us just become still for a few moments and just allow all of the experience of today to just drain from our entire bodies as we sit and just relax in our chairs. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. aware once more of the breath. We breathe in and breathe out. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Another deep breath in and exhale. One more time. Deep breath in and exhale. And as the music fades, slowly, gently, open your eyes. Come back to the present. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. And welcome to those of you who are just joining us. Those of you who are joining us on Zoom. And those of you who are joining us on YouTube. It's good to have you here. And I'm just going to share a little experience with you. Let me just bring up my... Let me just get my basic, yes. Right. Okay. Okay, so friends, every morning I do my meditation. I spend maybe an hour after I wake up in the morning and I commune, so to speak, with the divine presence. Okay, so out of the blue, you know, in my meditation one morning, I don't know if you remember this little skipping game that we used to play when we were children. It just floated up into my consciousness. Remember, room for rent, apply within. When I run out, you run in. How many of you remember that game? Room for rent, apply within. When I run out, you run in. I remember it was a skipping game. And there were two persons on the skipping rope. And it would have one person skipping, and then she would come out, another person would come in without, you know, changing the rhythm and, you know, stopping the movement of the rope. So I asked Spirit the night, you know, what does this mean? You know, so the song came to mind. What does it mean in a room for rent, apply within? When I run out, you run in. And how should I use it? And as clear as day, I heard the response. It said, we need to take time often to go within to the upper room of consciousness, where we can reflect, renew and replenish, explore and examine, nullify and negate, and trust the law. And those four stand for rent. Reflect, renew and replenish, R. Explore and examine, E. Nullify and negate, N. And T, trust. So let's take a closer look. In this teaching, we are urged to make room for spirit through our prayer work. Room here represents the upper room of our consciousness, which is a state of awareness, or that inner realm of being where we witness and behold our higher wisdom self, the God self. It is where we feel that sense of oneness and union with the divine, with everyone and with all creation. Now in Matthew 6, verse 6, the master teacher Jesus tells us to, and I quote, when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. End of that verse. He himself, that's Jesus, would sort of take for himself, as we say in our vernacular, to pray during some of the most challenging times of his own life, for example, to prepare for a major task. Jesus, when he was baptized, he spent 40 days praying in the wilderness, even enduring temptation, after which he began his public ministry. So remember, it was after that temptation in the wilderness that he started to do his work. The second thing, or one of the second ways in which Jesus would take himself away, would be to work through grief. After he learned that his cousin John the Baptist had been beheaded, he went away by himself to grieve. Thirdly, and this is just a few of many of the instances I saw in the Bible, before making an important decision, early in his ministry, Jesus spent a whole night, or he would spend the entire night by himself in prayer. And the next day, in this instance, he chose his 12 disciples. It didn't just happen willy-nilly. He did so after deep prayer and contemplation. The fourth occasion, in a time of distress, hours before he was arrested, Jesus went to the Mount of Olives to pray. At the time, he was in great emotional agony, knowing what he was about to face. So he went in solitude to pray. Consider, friends, that there is no time or space or otherness in the upper room. There is no sense of separation, judgment, or opinions in the upper room. And we talk about the upper room as the upper room of consciousness. There is only one presence of love, peace, timelessness, and fulfillment. This is where Jesus felt most connected with his Father. That upper room is always open, awaiting our entrance. We enter the upper room through the pathway of awareness and attention. So any meditation tools such as watching the breath, repeating mantras, or simply being mindful of the present moment can empower us to pass through the threshold of awareness. And this is where renting comes in. You know, in real estate language, renting is an agreement where a payment is made for the use of a property owned by another over a fixed period of time. However, in this context, room for rent has an entirely different meaning. Consider that in the upper room of consciousness, you're able to quietly and without distraction, firstly, reflect. You can turn inward to renew and replenish yourself. And as you reflect, you can consider and think clearly about your relationship with the divine presence and how it manifests in your life. Did you know that the single most effective thing you can do to accelerate and deepen your spiritual growth is to reflect on how you're applying truth and the principles of the science of mind in your life? You know, it's a very powerful practice, the science of mind, but it's not a feel-good only experience. In fact, it's not about feeling good at all. It's really about putting it into the context of going to the supermarket, dealing with bank balances, having to address the public service and water and other utility bills and financial commitments that we have. It's about expressing ourselves through work. It's about resolving relationships that might not be so healthy, and even the ones that are healthy, to be able to get guidance on how to keep them healthy. Okay, So we want to be able to find powerful ways to practice and to demonstrate the principles of truth. So that's the R. Let's look at E, which I have here, to explore and examine. And one of the practices that I use, particularly after a confrontation or a situation that really left me feeling upset, is to take a good look at that situation or that challenge and to try and do so objectively. It's not always easy, but one of the ways in which I do that is to tune into my body. I find that my stomach speaks to me, and not just when I want to go to the bathroom, but oftentimes when I'm stressed out or when I'm feeling upset about something somebody has said or done, or maybe something I have said or done that wasn't so kosher. I feel it in my stomach, right? And that is a powerful indicator for me that something is off. And so I ask myself, what about this situation is making me feel this way? It's a serious question to ask. And you don't want to ask anybody, because you don't want somebody else's opinion. You want to just ask yourself, what is it about the situation that's making me feel this way? Or you can ask this question. Another question is, what am I making this situation mean? And so the answers to these questions can often jolt us into realizing that the stress that we feel is often just the mind working overtime. And so think about this. It's usually not the fact of what happened that is making us upset, but the meaning that we give to it. I'd love to find an example. I have a very good friend who has kind of gotten some fame in his life, and I met him in recent circumstances, and there were a lot of cameras around him, and so it was really a kind of publicity event. He and I have been friends for years, and with all these cameras and people clamoring for his attention, he never paid me no mind. And so what happened is that I said hello. He waved to me in a very nonchalant way, or that's my word. And then he went off to take more pictures. And immediately I started to feel myself get upset. And I was feeling upset because we're supposed to be bosom buddy friends. So how come he's just not paying me any mind? And I got a call from him subsequent to that. He said, "Boy, Sandy, my apologies. I couldn't even pay you bad mind because of what my publicist wanted me to do this and do that. And I knew you would understand." And so I did, and we hugged and, hugged over the phone if that's possible. And I went off and I reflected and I said, here am I getting myself all tied up in knots when it really was nothing. I'm making up a story in my mind and allowing myself to feel stressed out by that story. Right? So it's a really powerful lesson to learn that a lot of our stress is self-inflicted. And if we just separate the fact of what happens from the interpretation, the story that we create around what happened, I will bet any money and win that we find that our stress levels will drop because we won't be feeling as upset and uptight anymore. Okay? So this now is about explore and examine. The N, I look at it as negate and nullify. So in the quiet space of our contemplation, we need to release the old patterns or behaviors that are out of alignment with the good that we desire. And this includes all the fears and doubts, or what we call stinking thinking. To know that there's no person or place or thing that can limit our good, ever. We need to nullify those thoughts with the assurance that God's goodness is the only reality. And anything that appears to be less than good is simply separation, our forgetting the truth. Our nature is our natural condition and arises naturally when all opposing illusion is released. And the T stands for trust. We've been called on to trust in the Lord with all our hearts. And trust that everything is unfolding as it should. So when we unequivocally believe that God is all there is, we say it in them, but we have to believe it. God is all there is. God is the only presence and the only power operating in our lives and affairs. And that in spite of any appearance, everything is unfolding as it should. When that happens, when we can do that, we triumph and we thrive. Doing this work, this is a practical application of the science of mind, enables us to consciously set our belief that we are expressing this good, not only in the formless realm of spirit, but here and now in the physical and mental realms. And this means that it manifests in our bodies as just basic balance and good health, in our mental realms in that we are not anxious and worried, okay? And it manifests in the material world as the good that we desire. So we have to accept the awareness, our awareness, that our good is here and now, right here, right now, and that is that. So what more is there? And this is where when I run out, you run in. Think of the running out, not in the sense of the skipping game, but when I run out of options, or when I seem to run out of options, or I run out of energy, or I run out of, I can't even think anymore. I've run out of positive thinking. I run out of like a friend of mine sent me a WhatsApp last night. He said, Sandy, pray for me. I can't even do it for myself right now. And this person is a strong prayer warrior. And so whatever they are going through at this time, they were feeling, based on the conversation we had subsequent to that they were completely out of options. And so it's to know that when you run out, you can open yourself to spirit and let spirit run in. Now that spirit really goes anywhere, but it's to just stop the mind from or release the thoughts of lack, limitation, and doubt and fear that fill up the consciousness. Just let it go and allow the love, the peace, the joy to run in and to fill us. Okay? So remember, friends, we can choose to live from the upper room of consciousness or from the basement of our reactive minds. It is our choice. And however, it does require practice, 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 and clear intention. And so I invite you all to set your intention to frequently, not only maybe mornings and evenings, but every now and again, take 2 minutes and just enter that upper room of consciousness. And in the solitude, know that room is always available for it, for you to reflect, examine, negate, and trust. We're always welcome, always accommodated, and always supported by the divine. Namaste. Okay. So, room for rent, apply within. Dawn, you remember the game? I'm seeing that. Yes. So, I would really like to ask you how can you really, in times where you feel that you have run out of possibilities, that you can really allow spirit to run in. and fill your consciousness. We tend to call people a lot and blame and complain about what's going on in our lives. How can we take advantage of this room for it? That's a question I'd like to ask you, and ask if you could just share, open your mic and share. Hi, Reverend Anne. How can you take advantage of this room of upper consciousness and allow for us to rent that room? Reflect, examine, or engage, nullify, or negate, and trust. How can we use that upper room of consciousness? Carol says, perhaps aim to own that space rather than think of renting. So you would then consider that you go into the room and you embrace opportunity. You embrace, what would the W be for Carol? Opportunity, O, W, and N. We'll have to think up some words for that.
Could be opportunity, wisdom, and when I reach the end yet.
Novelty came to mind just now, but opportunity, wisdom, and the now.
Yeah. Own it now. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, mortgage-free homeowner. Yeah. Is it Clivia? She says, visualize and actualize. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Tell me what you mean. You said visualize and actualize.
No, I was just really speaking generally, in terms of whatever you want to achieve, that you should visualize and
Got you.
yeah.
Okay, so in visualizing it first.
Yes.
It
aids in you actualizing it.
Awesome, love that. Okay. Anybody else? I'm telling you, the science of mind is the most wonderful and challenging experience, both at the same time. But
Sandy.
Yes, Dawn.
I just wanted to agree with what you said about starting the day, because I find that it makes a big difference for me how I start the day, to be quiet, meditate, and it seems to just sets the sets the what for the rest of the day. And I find
absolutely
it works. So I'm finding when people ask me to pray for them, I say, remember, every thought is a prayer. So watch what you're thinking, because you're bringing it into your experience. Of course, this is not necessarily people who are into our church, but I find that I tend to say that when people ask for to pray for me, and I said, watch your thoughts, because every thought is a prayer, and it becomes your experience without even realizing it.
Absolutely. Something about the morning, and I don't know if it's just the years and years of practice, but ideas come to me in avalanches in the morning. I mean, I have bits of paper and notepads that I keep by my bedside table. So before I go to bed at night, I will ask a question. Like, what do I do about X? Or I'm speaking next week, Tuesday. What is going to be my topic? And something comes into my head. And I've stopped asking, where did that come from? I just write it down. And it may not make sense in the moment, but as I go along, the logic and the sense comes from to me, through me. And there was a time in my life when I used to think that you have to be a guru or some kind of spiritual master to have these experiences of light flashing well, not real, but when I say the light of realization is what I'm talking about, where some things just comes clear as day. And I don't know, with practice and maintaining the spirit, doing the spiritual work, it is now normal. You know, I'm driving, I think of somebody, I pick up the phone and call them, and they say, you know, I was just going to call you. I felt driven to call that person. Thank you for that, Dawn. Okay.
Or one additional thing,
Yes.
but in relation to the calling, that sometimes you think of the person and the phone rings and it is them.
Correct.
The person you're thinking of, the phone
Correct.
rings, it's them, and I say, oh my God. That has happened to me several times.
Correct. All right. So as we go along, you know, we're at the time of our spiritual mind healing service. Oh, okay. Hold on, Clipville. Re-asking a question before going to bed, you would have spent the night thinking on the matters and the solutions you arrived at come to you when you wake or at times in dreams while you sleep. Absolutely. So are you asking for a comment, Clivia, or are you just making a
No, just a conclusion from what you were saying.
Yes, it happens. See, we can't, there's no blueprint as to how it happens. And the thing is, sometimes if you think, the dreams that I have sometimes are some grand adventures
Yes.
with purple people and, you know, maybe I watch too much TV or, you know, but the school of thought around dreams, and Carol, you can back me up with this, is that you need to look at the dominant feeling that you have. So even though you're walking and the people are upside down, you know, what is the feeling you have observing these upside down people or whatever it is that occurs in the dream? So that's one. So you know, and you know, keep that piece of pen and paper by the bedside, because sometimes the dreams just disappear. You know,
Okay.
you remember it when you wake up, and then you go and get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and come back and you say, what are the dream again?
Yes, it's absolutely essential to record the dream, because every character in the dream is an aspect of you,
Mhm.
and it is bringing you solutions that you are looking for. You know, that's not airy-fairy hocus pocus thing. I mean,
True.
is one mind, and you put it out there expecting an answer or not. But once you put it out there, the answer is already on its way to you. So as long as you're open to hearing that answer, that's why you keep the pad by your bed.
True.
So when the answer comes, you can write it down. And even if it's days later that you don't look at it, you know, it will be there when you need it.
Correct. You know, and just to come back to what you wrote here, Clivia, I'm not saying you, but as we can think about this night time before we're going to bed, it's important for us to be at peace rather than have that, Lord have mercy, I should have did, and why am I never called, and God, tomorrow I'm going to have to, you know, that kind of, you know,
Worrying.
you know. So just ask the question clearly and don't try to answer it, because our human mind will want to do that. You know, maybe I should go call, or what if, you know, don't just know it.
Be anxious for nothing.
Exactly. And said, which direction should I take? Blue or red? Left or right? Take a big yawn, turn off the light and go to sleep.
Exactly. Be still and know.
Exactly. Correct. All right. So let's
Exactly.
go.
And also be willing to follow. Be willing to
Yeah.
follow the instructions you get. You know.
And Carol is right, you know, because it might not, the answered instructions you get might not sit so well on your conscious mind.
Right.
That don't make sense. And a fool business that. But, just say, okay, is there more that I need to know? And go brush your teeth. And somehow is a clarity that comes that I can't tell you where and how it comes.
Right.
just
You
ask.
eventually feel at peace.
Correct. All right, so we need to go to prayer. So I'm going to ask you to make your requests for prayer. So, and of course, I'm going to write these down so Dawn. And I heard love and I saw health and love.
Health from Michael from Yvonne Chang Oliver.
So Dawn, Michael, and Yvonne for health. Right? Okay. Thank you for that, Vance. Carol, right action and clarity. Okay, let's begin.
Light for Jennifer. Will it live again?
Mhm. Okay, so Carol, I'm going to do right action for you, and then I'm going to do light as a second treatment, okay? And yourself and Jen, okay. So we do this affirmative prayer of health. We affirm that God is all there is. The perfection, the wholeness, the allness of life, expressing in and through and as every single one of us. Expressing right now as Dawn, as Michael, and as Yvonne. I'm knowing that each of these three beautiful souls and anyone else who is open and receptive to these words, we open ourselves to the idea that health is all there is, that we are embodiments of perfect health, that we are made in the image and likeness of God, and that every cell, every fiber, every aspect of our physical bodies is vibrating with perfect health. It is that health which binds every cell and every fiber. It is that which enables every organ to work and express itself. It is that which assimilates and eliminates. It is that which allows us to heal from any experience of condition. And so we allow our minds to embrace the perfection and wholeness that we are. And know that any sense of dis-ease is just an indicator and a reminder for us to focus on the health that we are. And so I know strength, courage, vitality, and perfect life expressing as the health and health for Dawn, for Michael, and for Yvonne. And knowing that this health is their experience now. With confidence and knowing that the law of mind acts upon these words, I release them into that law, knowing that they're fully and perfectly demonstrated as the awesome experience of health. And I rejoice and give thanks that this is so now. And so it is. Okay. This is an affirmative prayer of right action. And I speak these words for Carol and for myself. We recognize and know that all is God. And knowing that all is God, we know that all is good. And all is expressing and demonstrating in perfect right action. And I'm knowing that as every aspect of nature expresses in its most wonderful and perfect way, all the seasons, all this, the constellations in the universe, every aspect of how nature works is perfect right action, perfect divine order. And so being one with all that is, I know that for ourselves, right action permeates every aspect and avenue of our lives. I know that every decision that we make is driven by this sense of perfect right action. We choose, and we choose wisely, all that is in harmony with the highest and best. Whatever choices there are before us, I know there's that within us that resonates with that which is in alignment with the best that there is for us. So I know that this right action is manifesting in our work, in our relationships, in our church community, in every aspect of our experience. Perfect right action prevails, and all is well. I know that this is a truth, and with confidence, with gratitude, I release these words now with a sense of a blessed assurance that right action is manifesting for Carol, for myself, and for everyone who is open and receptive to these words. I truly give thanks that all this is so now, and so it is. This is an affirmative prayer of light. We know that God is light, God is wisdom, God is intelligence. And this light and wisdom and intelligence is that which brought all this universe together, every planet, every system, every event expressed out of wisdom, the wisdom of the infinite. And I'm knowing that this presence of light, of clarity and wisdom is now expressing as Carol and Jennifer. And so I speak my word now, knowing that whatever it is that Carol and Jennifer need to know is revealed to them. They each of them embodies the wisdom and the understanding of the divine presence that expresses at the center of their beings. I know they are guided in making wise and right choices that support them wholeheartedly, that allow them to take their businesses to a higher realm of expression. And these choices allow for them to be richly and fulsomely rewarded, because it is the Father's good pleasure to give them the kingdom. And so I affirm and know for Carol and Jennifer that the light of that eternal Christ is forever guiding them, lighting the path ahead for them, and enabling them to know which way to go and what choices to make, and all is well. There's no indecision, there's only God to know, and the light of wisdom to guide. And so knowing this, I release these words with a sense of deep gratitude for the blessing that is light for Carol and for Jennifer, and for everyone who is open and receptive to these words. I know that the Lord acts upon these words and it now becomes the fullest demonstration for each and every one. I truly give thanks that all this is so, and so it is. And we have love for Dawn. And I'd like to extend that love to embrace and encompass our beautiful island home. And so we know that God is love. That love surrounds us. In that love we safely dwell. It is above, it is beneath, it is within us. We know that love is ours by right of being, and all is well. God is love, pure love. God is love, sweet, sweet love. That love is indeed all of ours now, and all is well. We know that out of love we were created, and out of love we return. And in this moment, we express love fully, powerfully, and passionately in every aspect of our lives, in our work, in our relationships. We begin by knowing that the love of God expresses within us, and we look with the eyes of love, and we see ourselves with the eyes of love. And so we love ourselves first and foremost. And from there, we embrace others, everyone with whom we come into contact. We allow this love to float gently from our center to our circumference, to embrace every single one with whom we come into contact. I'm knowing that this love is a love that binds us together always in cords of everlasting harmony. I'm knowing that this is a love that surrounds our beautiful island home, that expresses as peace, expresses as abundance, expresses as the perfect expression of our Jamaicanness through our music and our sports, through our entrepreneurship, through every aspect of our expression. And I'm knowing that this love is that which goes from our shores to touch every country across the planet. And so we experience this love in every possible way in our life. And that love heals, that love blesses, and that love uplifts us and moves us to expressing and experiencing God in every way possible. And so I give thanks for the blessing of love. And I release my word now, knowing that love permeates, love is abundant, and all is well. I truly give thanks that this is so, and so it is. That's it, Vance. I don't see anything more in the chat.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And so, friends, just a few, let me just bring this up. A few notices very quickly. Reverend John continues his quiet moments in the garden on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. And so we invite you to join him on Facebook .com/Temple of Light CSL/live.
I think he does it on his page.
Oh, so we need to change this.
Yeah.
We need to change this. So it's so you need to look for Reverend John's Facebook page for his quiet moments in the garden. Okay. And midday every day, Monday to Friday, Reverend Anne brings what she calls a midday boost for the soul with noon bites. And this is at 12 noon every day. So I have that. Okay. And on Thursdays at 6 p.m., we have prayer power, except for the last Thursday in the month, during which prayer power will be at 5 o'clock. But this week's prayer power, this Thursday, is at 6 p.m. And we invite you to come and be lifted up by the transformative power of God's love, light, peace, and joy. Now, friends, this is an opportunity not to be missed, but maybe I'm speaking to the converted. We have on Thursdays, Ignite Your Life with Bible Wisdom at 7 p.m. It started on September 7th, and we are going to have class 3 on Thursday. But don't worry about having missed 2 classes, because the introduction and the engagement is powerful, and you will catch up, I can assure you. So we will look at the parables. We'll look at some of the fundamental tenets of the Bible. We'll see how these tenets are in alignment with the science of mind. And it will just, as the topic says, ignite our lives. So look forward to that. On Thursdays, 7 to 9, Ignite Your Life with Bible Wisdom. And our lifeline this month, we have our new senior minister, Reverend Michelle Senegal, and she will be our guest for this lifeline. And her topic is living authentically. Sure, you're not going to want to miss that. Invite a friend and hear Reverend Michelle talk about living authentically. Vance, there was one thing that was missing from the notes, and I'd love to just say it right here, Reverend, and perhaps you can remind me of the title of Reverend Michelle's Thursday morning's course, beginning on the 5th of October. Can you remind me of the name, please?
You're born rich.
You are born rich. Wow. What more would you need than that? You are born rich. And this begins on Thursday, October the 5th, starting at 11:30 a.m., live and direct with Reverend Michelle at the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. And it goes until 1:30, just 2 hours. And I saw the notice this, in my messages today. The cost of this course is a commitment to tithe for the duration of the program. The course materials are free, and the cost, as I said, is your commitment to tithe. So call into the office to register, 927-6145 or 946-2230 to register for You Are Born to Be Rich. Okay, look forward to having you there. And of course, our masterclass retreat scheduled for October 27th to 29th. And with our special guest speaker, Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones. Dr. Dennis has visited Jamaica already. He's an amazing teacher, and we are really blessed to have him. So we invite you to if you haven't yet registered, to just make the decision and come. It is going to be an amazing time. It's Jewel Paradise Cove, and we want for all of us to be able to demonstrate a life filled with purpose and meaning, and to have some fun on the weekend. We're going to have a really great time. This week's Sunday service, Reverend, and oh wow, even if it's just come and look at the Ponciana tree. Hello,
It's Livigen.
okay, Jennifer.
Practitioner. Yeah.
Wonderful. So we look forward to having Jennifer share with us. It's Practitioner Sunday. Yes. So we look forward to her message this Sunday. All right. And next Tuesday, who is speaking next Tuesday? But whoever is speaking, I know they're going to be bringing you a most inspirational message. Next Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Zoom and on YouTube Live. We look forward to having you. And if you feel moved to support our ministry, friends, we ask you to please feel free to donate at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. And we are absolutely grateful for you and your generosity as you help us make the Temple of Light a beacon of light for the world. And now as we are going to perhaps make that, click on the donate button. I invite you to put your hand on your hearts and let us say together the blessing. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply, bless, prosper and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father, and so it is. And now, friends, we're going to say together the prayer of our center. The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community, from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate, to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever. And so it is. And our prayer of Jamaica, the radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us, everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established, and so it is. Friends, we have come to the end of our spiritual mind healing service. And I'm inviting you to just join me. Oh, we forgot about before we close. Remember this Sunday to join us for our wonderful concert in the garden. We're going to be having lots of playing. We have Dr. Michael Abrams will be playing with words. We have Emily Elliott playing with strings. We have our young people playing with fashion. And we have a wonderful youth band playing with music. And we look forward to that. Our tickets are $2,000 each. And we're going to have a delightful time. Clivia, it's at 5 p.m. at the Temple, 46 Fairway Avenue, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. Come and have some good fun. I mean, Michael Abrams, you know, I mean, hearing Emily play, oh, we're going to have a good time. And it's early enough for us to get home early. And I think we have refreshments included as complimentary. So we look forward to having, and bring a friend or 2 or 10. Okay. It's a fundraiser, and proceeds are in aid of our meditation garden in which the concert will be held. Once it is clear and there's no rain, the concert will be in the garden. In addition to that, we will also be proceeds are in aid of musical instruments.
It's for the young people. Mm.
Or
Sandy, it's not in the garden. It's
in the sanctuary.
Oh, it's going to be in the sanctuary. Okay.
Mm.
Okay, thanks for that. So either which way, we are under our shelter.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you all very much. And let us just pray together as we recognize, God, that which convened this spiritual mind healing service. that which brought everyone here this evening, that which expresses in our lives and affairs, that which is, we know, as health and life and right action and love, and all that is that allows us to experience our highest and our greatest good right here and right now. And so as we end this wonderful event together, I'm knowing that we take with us the knowing that there's always God expressing at the center of our beings. There's always room to grow and to own, right? To appreciate opportunities with wisdom, and Carol and God knows what the M stands for. We just know that the fullness and the richness of our lives are now fueled by the essence and the presence of God expressing in through and as us. And so we give thanks as we move forward, knowing that God is with us, expressing in through and as us every single step of our journey. So we give thanks as we release these words and know that they are fully and bountifully demonstrated. I rejoice that all this is so now, and so it is. My friends, love you and bless you, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a wonderful
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you very much.